Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for the invitation. I am very happy to participate in this special event. My presentation is about biodiversity, climate change, and communication. Biodiversity, which is the variety of living organisms, is crucial to the Earth's ecological balance. Its accelerated loss caused by human activities such as deforestation, pollution, and climate change endanger life on the planet and the ecosystem service on which we depend, such as food, medicine, and livelihoods. The biodiversity crisis is directly related to climate change, as it alters natural habitats and the distribution of species, affecting both fauna and flora and consequently humans. The impacts of climate change are not limited to only to natural ecosystems, but also affects human health by reducing the availability of essential resources. Biodiversity loss leads to the disappearance of species that could have medicinal application or be vital to the balance of the ecosystem on which we depend. Ecosystem degradation can also reduce food resource, jeopardizing global food security and affecting the well-being of entire communities. In this context, communication becomes a key tool for raising awareness and mobilizing society to address environmental challenges. The media's The media ability to inform, educate, and mobilize the population is crucial for generating change in public habitats and policies. Adequate coverage of climate change and biodiversity can help people understand the urgency of taking action and at the same time influence political and business decisions. For example, Bennett and David, 2019 proposed an approach to the communication strategies need to address climate change and biodiversity loss, highlighting the interconnectedness of two problems. These authors emphasize how climate change directly and indirectly affects ecosystems and species, including rising global temperatures, ocean acidification, and extreme weather events, which after the distribution and survival of species. Communication must be clear, accessible, persuasive to generate a collective response. On the other hand, Fletcher and Christie, 2020, explore the central role that the media plays in shaping public discourse on climate change. They argue that the media not only report on climate change, but also influence the social construction of climate reality through narratives, image, and language. These authors advocate for a more rigorous evidence-based approach to avoid the false equivalence between scientific opinions and unfounded skepticism, proposing more inclusive and fair forms of communication. Hamilton and Denise, 2021, address how communication and action are essential to addressing the climate crisis, underscoring the importance of effectively conveying information to mobilize action. They also analyze barriers such as misinformation and political popularization, proposing the use of emotional narrative and solution-oriented messages to foster collective action. O'Neill and Nicholson calls 2009 examine how visual communication especially iconic representation of climate crisis, can promote more positive and constructive engagement with climate change. They propose that rather than generating fears, an action motivating approach should be fostered through a visual representation that inspire hope and empowerment. Schaefer and Tadkik, 2015, suggests a key approach for improving climate change communication, such as the need to tailor messages to resonate with different audiences. Furthermore, they assert that communication should utilize multiple platforms and formats to reach a broader audience, highlighting how individual action can make a difference. Climate change is one of the greatest urgent challenges facing humanity. The effects of global warming are evident, with an overwhelming consensus in the scientific community that human activity, primarily the burning of fossil fuels, is the primary cause of this crisis. This phenomenon is already generating profound challenges to the environment, such as raising sea levels for more intense natural disasters and significant alteration in biodiversity. However, there is also an opportunity for growth through the transition to a low-carbon economy, which could generate a new sectors, jobs, and more sustainable development. To effectively combat climate change, immediately and coordinate action is required for all sectors of society, for all actors of society. Governments must implement public policies that promote sustainability and biodiversity conservation, from regulation on pollution, gas emission of the promotion of renewable energy. Business must also adopt more sustainable practice, such as investing in renewable energy, other energy at the individual level, reducing energy consumption and supporting sustainable business also plays an important role. Citizens and social movements are key players in the fight against the climate crisis and biodiversity loss. Demonstration, petition, and use of social media are powerful tools for amplifying demands and the need for an urgent response to environment problems. Through collective action, citizens can influence political and business decisions and encourage foster broader challenges. Addressing climate change and biodiversity loss requires the collaboration of all stakeholders, governments, businesses, scientists, non-governmental organizations, journalists, and citizens. Communication plays a fundamental role in mobilizing society, raising awareness, and fostering collective action to ensure sustainable future for future generations. This is all. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.